Hello, everyone. My name is Edwin Rogers, and today is the first time I'm using Replit as a tool to build websites, and I'm loving it so far. It's done the best job kind of with the prompts that I've kind of given it. So let me show you a little bit about this website project that I'm working on for a friend of mine named Lalita King. She's based in Puerto Rico. She's a fine artist. Her work is pretty amazing. This is her. And I just kind of wanted to create a quick website for her, and I decided to use Replit. Now, one of the things that I was working on, and I tried this a couple of times to vibe code and experiment with building my future websites with things like lovable.dev. And I'm not sure if it's here. I have a couple projects, but yeah, I tried to build her website using Lovable. I can show you some simple. It wasn't actually a simple prompt. I kind of used a framework called Aura to develop the prompt. And you can check it out at aura.build. And what I first tried to do was kind of remix a lovely design and see if kind of Lovable can implement this design. I think it was this one. So this is, I wanted this kind of beautiful black from background, but it to be the ocean and kind of this. And you could see that I fed it the code. It kind of did a good job. At first it looked really bad. And I swapped the image in the background, and then I figured I could kind of play with the opacity so that this text is a little bit more readable. And I felt like this is kind of like a stylish, nice site. I might just show it to her, but honestly, it just didn't feel good. So I decided to try Replit. And one thing I noticed immediately, like, it's just so much easier to just do simple things. Like, if you look at this preview, you'll notice that the cards, they kind of have this kind of oceany feel, like they're floating in a cool way. And I think I just like the way the layout came out and the design. Everything's kind of like have this floating effect kind of when you're viewing it. It's very subtle, but I love it. It gives it this ocean feel that I like. So I also like that I could just simply just edit, select a card, and then kind of change the content and change the image. Basically, I'm taking her Instagram, which everyone should be following her over here, by.lilita, and just grabbing some of her beautiful artwork just as a placeholder until she gives me more of her designs. So this is her kids, actually, and it's a lovely portrait of her kids. So I'm just going to swap that in. They've grown since I've seen them in New York. And I'm just grabbing a quick screenshot of it, and then I'm going to save it and then simply upload it to, let me just save it real quick. And then I'm just going to simply upload it to Replit, and it's just simpler. I don't know. This one doesn't have that image upload, but I could just look at the code, which I don't want to do. I just want to upload this image, so I'm just going to attach it real quick. And there you go. That's the image. And then just say swap image. And boom, I mean, it just thinks about it and then just changes the image. Maybe I can add a title, and she could tell more of the details. But as a first pass, like, I just like the workflow. Lovable is a great tool, but I'm enjoying Replit. And what I really like about Replit too is that I could easily deploy, but then I could also go into a code editor like Cursor, which is where I really want to develop in. And Cursor is just a version of VS Code, Visual Studio Code by Microsoft, which is open source, and it has an AI agent attached to it, and you can select which models that you want. So Claude 4 Sonnet is pretty much the most popular right now, but if you wanted to use ChatGPT 5 or whatever modern models, you can do that inside of a code editing environment. So again, this is my first time with Replit. All I'm going to do is just swap out these images and then deploy and send it to her for kind of like a approval. But this took me to create the prompt for this. It's pretty simple. So let me see if I could. This is the prompt that I wrote, and I used this tool, Aura, to build it, the prompt. So it has a little prompt builder, which I kind of like, and you just select, like, hey, I want a hero with, I believe I selected a list and a flat screen, and I want it to be kind of a minimalist design, light mode with kind of like a blue motif, and you could kind of select which kind of fonts you want. I don't remember. I think I selected a sans serif font with the header font being, I believe it was Laura, and I think the body, usually I use Enter, but I think I went with Geist. And you could just say, I want it to be a big heading, and I want the subtitles to be a little bigger. I'm getting old. I'm wanting everything bigger. You can add, and what I like about this is these animation ease in and out effects that you can have. I wanted it to be kind of like a floaty sliding effect, and there you have it. Just you get a sense of what the slides can do. Now I think I didn't plus replace animation. I don't want it to go up and down, but you get the sense. So then it creates a prompt, and then you add this prompt. So this is the gist of the prompt. But then I also added something like, okay, create a landing page for a fine artist named Lalita King, and have an ocean surf by theme and image. So, I mean, I think it did a great job. And once we could get this form going and change a little bit of this text, like, this is really quick and ready to go. Now, I'll, for all fairness, give this prompt to Lovable right now. This is the exact same prompt, right? Nothing changed. No difference. And let's see what it comes out with. So here's the prompt. It's analyzing and reading, and maybe I'll pause and fast forward when this is done. It might take about a minute. Okay, it looks like it's thought for not 7 seconds. It was more like a couple minutes. I don't know. And here we go. Ocean thing, and it's kind of that floaty effect that I was saying. The image that it selected initially isn't the greatest. And yeah, look at this. This is, I mean, you tell me, like, what do you think? And granted, I gave this a little love, but all right out of the box, I think Replit did a better job with just the same design prompt. Now, let's say I wanted to change this background image, just like I did to give it all fairness. So I'm going to attach this background image and say change So just one, I like to give it like one or two little prompts. I don't like to give it a whole litany. I think people make it seem like, oh, you get charged per prompt, but if you look at the little details, somewhere here you could see how much each prompt costs. And when I did big changes, which 90% of the times didn't work, it seems like it used more prompt energy, whatever. So you can see this is zero point 0.5 used, but if you do a huge change request, let's see what this used. See, look, it used like 6 times as much energy because this has more details on it. So, I don't mind just I think it judges based on how much content that you give it and how many instructions you get and how many lines of codes it revises to kind of like charge you accordingly. So, whatever. I just want to get the work done. It's definitely cheaper than a back-end developer. Let's say. So I'm gonna hit refresh because sometimes it shows it does the changes, but you don't actually see it, and I don't see it. So where did it do this? Change background. See what I mean? Like it's just like, what did I do wrong? Like, okay, let me try it again. It didn't change it. I don't see the change. So this is often the case. So you're like, I don't see the change. Maybe it wrote it in a different page, which I don't even see a top navigation. Yeah, it's just, I just found Replit easier to, oh no, maybe it did change it. Maybe that, yes, no, it did change it. This is the same image. So I just didn't notice. It looks so close to the last image, so I did it. So let me swap this. I like how this is animating here. And you just see if so you could just hit this edit button, same thing in Replit, and then make this quick change. This is like margin padding. I guess I could just copy and paste an image. So I'm going to try that. Copy, paste that image of the children in there. I know it's, why is it pasting it here? Okay, swap image. All right, thinking about it. Might take a minute. Updating the gallery component. Yeah, I kind of like this kind of like movement. Kind of like makes it move with the ocean. I think there's not enough contrast. It's wanted in the middle. I wanted it here, and I selected it here. You saw that. So this just does a lot of unexpected things. But still, I kind of like this where the kids are swaying in that little bed, and you can kind of see the art. Still, I mean, I don't know. I like this version better because I didn't specify responsiveness. So that's something that you should always do. But pretty wide. Okay. I like how the animation kind of floats in. Cards kind of tilt with a little bit of an animation and everything. It's kind of like simple GSAP, moving content in. Yeah, I like it. I'm going to swap this image of the fish. It kind of doesn't work. But this is, it's kind of moving in this little bit of an animation when I just keep the mouse still. I think there's a little too much, a lot of padding right there, so I'll remove some of that. And yeah, this is a simple one-page website. So just wanted to go over Replit and Lovable for a little bit, and I'm just going to keep building in public and sharing my client work in these tools, and hopefully you learn something and enjoy. If you want to learn more content, you can visit my website at edwinrogers.com. And yeah, spread love. All right. Peace.